Hey guys, what's up? It's Shinobi Ranger here and welcome back to the second campaign of our Age of Empires 4 campaign playthrough. And we shall be starting off the second campaign, the second chapter in history, if you will, with the 100 Years' War and the first scenario of the 100 Years' War, 1351 at 30. So this is the 100 Years conflict from 1351 to 1450, which ends at Formigny. But this is a bit weird because if you look at the 100 Years' War, the last formal conflict of the 100 Years' War would be in 1453 at the Siege of Castillon, where the French rout the English forces and drive them off the continent for good, because Castillon is the last holdout of English forces in France. Ideally, this conflict began in 1356, the naval battle of Sluis, later on followed by the first and the most major battle in the initial period, that would be the Battle of Poitiers in 1356. So it was a part of a series of raids which began. So the actual period of the 100 Years' War is from 1356 to 1453, but in this case they have covered the prelude to the war and they're just running one battle short of the actual end of the war. Okay, but before we proceed ahead with this campaign mission, if you missed the previous campaigns, that is the first campaign with Normans, you would be finding the playlist notification popping up in the right top corner of the screen. So in case you missed out the first campaign, feel free to check it out and you can get yourself updated. Alright, 1351-30. The combat of the 30. Chivalry. England's king waged war for his claim to France. In the midst of violent raids and devastating battles, one tournament of champions would uphold the values of chivalry. Okay, sounds intriguing. Let us go.
In 1350, what we know as the idyllic French countryside was a living hell. For more than 15 years, the people had suffered at the hands of English invaders. Little did they know that this war would last for another 100 years. But through this crucible of fighting, famine and plague, there would emerge the modern nation of France. England's King, Edward III, looked jealously across the English Channel. Wanting France for his own, he had added the fleur-de-lis, the symbol of France, to his own royal standard. This was an all-out declaration of war. And in 1337, he invaded. But France already had a king, Philippe VI. As the English burned their way across the land, Philippe's army and his legendary knights marched to meet them and came face to face with the English longbow. A simple weapon, but the most devastating the knights had ever faced. The heroes of France fell to storms of English arrows. The war engulfed the French countryside. By 1351, the conflict was focused on Brittany. One fight stands out as a spectacular display of chivalry and a symbol of the wider conflict between the two enemy nations. The combat of the 30 is still commemorated here in Brittany. It was a dispute between two local families. Supported by the opposing sides in the war, the French and English commanders decided to settle it through a trial of knightly combat. Each side would choose 30 champions to fight on neutral ground. France prepared to defend itself against England's finest.
All right, my apologies. I messed up the date of the commencement of the war. So it is from 1337 to 1453. So it's 116 years. My sincere apologies for messing that up. I think 1356 is Poitiers, if I'm right. I do not remember, I do not recollect. But please disregard what I stated. All right. Mission Combat of the 30. The French captain Jean de Beaumont. All right, give me a minute. Jean de Beaumont would enlist 30 great fighters to defend France's claim to Brittany. On the opposing side, England's fiercest champions represented their king. The two sides would clash in an arena of chivalric combat. Okay, so this is a formal duel between combatants. Contest of arms settled by the best fighters, and according to the code of chivalry, whoever would win would claim their prize. In this case, that would be perhaps the settlement, or it would be demanding the withdrawal of the French army, perhaps. Chivalry is something akin to Bushido, so where Bushido stands for the code of conduct of the samurai, i.e., the way of the warrior, chivalry represents the code of conduct for the knightly class, the noble class. Essentially, chivalry has almost the same as Bushido. The thing is, the rules are a bit varied. First things first, as a knight of the knightly class, you must fight to protect the poor, defend the poor, uh, protect the women folk, and one more thing, not many people were like this. Alright, the codes were idealistic, not many people followed them. Alright, don't believe it. Don't believe everything about the romanticization of chivalry. Okay, and then you had to be loyal to your king, uh, swear an oath of loyalty, fealty to your liege lord. That is one thing. Uh, if your liege lord goes to war, you respond to his call of arms appropriately. You manage the king's fiefs appropriately. So how the system of the knights worked was, so in this feudal age, the thing is, there was not much of central authority. So you had the king, and the king would parcel out land which consisted of a manor, i.e., almost like a castle and a village, to people whom he trusted and would employ. So these nobles, barons, i.e., knights, so they would be in charge of their estates, right? And their task is to govern that part of the kingdom for the king, right? You govern it appropriately and make sure you pay the taxes are paid to the king. And whenever the king calls out for war, whenever the king issues a call to war, then whoever is there in the knightly circle, whoever is a landlord, I mean to say, whoever is of the barons and nobles, whoever is um, living on the king's estate, whoever is controlling king's estate, they are expected to be present and also supply a few troops from their own fief, right? And that was where this concept of chivalry comes in, where as I just stated, you had a set of rules, or not many people would follow that. Okay, it is idealistic, not practical. Not practical. I would say most of the times it wasn't completely followed. I mean, there were ways to twist and turn the rules. Alright, that's how it used to go. Alright, let's get on with the game. That is too much discussion.
Intent on ending the suffering of the French peasantry, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir sent a challenge to the English commander. 30 champions on each side would compete in a tournament for final claim to Brittany. With the battleground of the halfway oak agreed upon, Sir Jean set out to gather support from local knights.
Okay, here we go. Jean de
As a
Beaumanoir.
knight himself, Sir Jean followed the strict rules of chivalry and was expected to protect the local peasantry and ensure peace.
Yeah, that is one of their prime responsibilities. Jean de Beaumanoir. I'm sorry, I cannot get the pronunciation of his surname. So he's the Marshal of Jocelyn. Okay, effective against most units. Does he heal? Yes. Alright, let's get going. We need to recruit champions to combat the English. Right. He looks sick, man. That surcoat over his armor. Oi, 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 kill them. I nearly forgot that.
Most medieval tournaments were friendly in nature, held for sport and glory, but the combat of the 30 was arranged between opponents mired in war. English raids had torn through the countryside of Brittany and brought great hardship to the people.
Right, so, okay, I need to, okay, one second, let me just pause the game here. So I need to explain this duels, alright, this sport of combat and tournaments. Alright, so in periods of peace, when you had an extended, prolonged period of peace, as a way for the knights to hone their skill in war so that they don't lose touch of their martial abilities, the king would organize tournaments. You had these tournaments, you had these duels, which are what was sport, was solely a way of testing your skills in combat, right? You had that sport of tournament where the knight should practice tilting your lance to uh, dismount your opponent by riding at each other, making passes, lower your lance, knock your opponent off the horse. And also one more thing is in formal tournaments where you could place bets. I mean, so it could be like one knight says, okay, let us say, for example, no. That never used to happen. One more practice in this age was during the times of war. If you captured a knight or a noble, you could expect the noble's family to pay ransom to free him. So you could uh, capture a knight, bring him to your camp, hold him prisoner, keep him alive, then send a messenger to his family stating that I have captured this knight. If you want him released, pay up this amount. Usually, it would be negotiated between the captured party and the captive. Between the captured, between the captive and the capturing party. It had to be negotiated in such a way that the amount is not going way beyond the knight's capabilities to pay, and it should not be so small that people look upon him and laugh at him and make fun of him. And that was a very fine balance you need to do. And the ransoms could be hefty. Sometimes you have to pay what was demanded, otherwise they would kill the knight. So that was a common practice. You could raise a kingly fortune in terms of having captives, high ranking captives such as knights, nobles, barons. Okay, sorry about that. Now, so Jean de Beaumanoir, one, and Sir Olivier Arel, unique to the French. He's a French champion. He will be group 2. These spearmen will be group. Okay, let's just take them along. French champion is there. French champion is there. Right. You know what? It's really peaceful, despite being in the midst of war.
Sir Jean spotted an English raiding party attacking a nearby farmstead.
The deed is for. I don't know what is this ability. Thunder. Oh, okay. Oh, we lost a spearman. Okay.
The French knights defeated the English raiders, and Sir Guy de Rochefort joined Sir Jean's party.
Alright. Now Guy de Rochefort. Okay. French champion, unique to the French. He reduces the armor. Oh, that's under ability. Alright. Alright. Guy de Rochefort. Group 3. There. Heal them up. Okay. Yeah, let us recruit few more champions. Let us recruit more of the French champions. Olivier Man at arms. Okay. 11 out of 30. So we need 30. Oh, we lost one soldier.
Sir Jean's search next brought him to Sir Geoffroy de Bois, whose squires were contending with a detachment of English longbowmen.
Charge!
The knights would use the great speed of their war horses to charge the archers and overwhelm them.
There we go. Oh, we lost spearman. Damn it! Okay.
The English longbowmen fell, but the French knights knew the enemy would attempt to retake the hilltop fortification and steeled themselves for further attacks.
Oh, screw your lot. Kill them all, kill them all. What? Oh, more of them. Oh, fools. They are charging headlong. Here, why are you charging headlong? Oh my god, how many more of them are coming in? Good grief, how many of these specimens are there, huh? Wow. That's a lot of English troops. Oh no! Oh no! Damn, that was him. Alright, let me redo this. Oh man. What? Okay, hold on a minute and restart. I'm screwed up already. Damn. I was utterly careless on my part. Yeah, let's do this.
Intent on ending the suffering of the French peasantry, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir sent a challenge to the English commander. 30 champions on each side would compete in a tournament for final claim to Brittany. With the battleground of the Halfway Oak agreed upon, Sir Jean set out to gather support from local knights.
Okay, here we go again. This time, let us try to be a better person.
As a knight himself, Sir Jean followed the strict rules of chivalry and was expected to protect the local peasantry and ensure peace.
Chef. Page. Quand je commande, avance. Je suis votre serveuse.
Kill them all, come on. Kill. Okay.
Most medieval tournaments were friendly in nature, held for sport and glory, but the combat of the 30 was arranged between opponents mired in war. English raids had torn through the countryside of Brittany and brought great hardship to the people.
Okay.
Reste par une sanglante hâtie.
Courage l'entière, en ordre.
Here, man.
Attendez les commandements pour votre service.
Sir Jean spotted an English raiding party attacking a nearby farmstead.
Go now. Right. Q, T, and E. So you're all dead now. Shit, get out there. Kill him now. Come on, you can do it. Okay, we need to
The French knights
heal now.
defeated the English raiders, and Sir Guy de Rochefort joined Sir Jean's party.
Okay. All are healed.
Quel est votre plaisir?
Come on, heal up. I need to heal. Now, the mistake we had made was to go to the French outpost directly, so let me not do that. Let me go to the river. Go to the bridge and find somebody else, and then wheel back around to find what's his name? I forgot his name. Olivier Arel, Guy de Rochefort. Okay.
Looking to secure his honor, a young knight held his ground on a bridge in Sir Jean's path.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Honorably conceding defeat in the duel, Sir Yves Charel joined the cause.
Soyez prêts, retrayez vos amours.
Yves Charel. Yves Charel. Is unique to the French and he can increase their armor. Oh, this ability is familiar. Where is Guy de Rochefort? No, I need Olivier Arm. There, heal up. Oh, what happened? Why did it stuck? Hello, what is happening? Whoa, what's happening? Why is this freezing up? Okay, here we go. Alright, now, why is the game lagging so badly? Hold on. Just give me a second. That's not me. Okay, hold on a minute. See. Let me. Oh, I can't do that, eh? Wait a minute. This one is a quick save, right? Yeah. Delete. Okay, now all our spearmen away,
Dicte-moi ma besoin.
men at arms away,
Page.
our heroes group 1,
Lancière, gardez de vos.
2, men at arms group 3.
Reste para atier. Aveillez botch.
Courage, lancière.
Chaske moult avant.
There we go.
Après.
Oh! Damn. Is it
Sir
their
Jean's
blood?
search next brought him to Sir Geoffroy Dubois, whose squires were contending with a detachment of English longbowmen.
Yeah, they're taking casualties. Charge! Charge!
The knights would use the
Charge!
great speed of their war horses to charge the archers and overwhelm them.
Okay, here we go. Oh, where the hell do you think you're running away off to, huh?
The English longbowmen fell, but the French knights knew the enemy would attempt to retake the hilltop fortification and steeled themselves for further attacks.
Okay.
Bien savait oyer.
I just hope they don't get killed off. Oi, 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 oi. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Give me a second. RT. All the letters. Damn, these idiots are attacking like anything. Should I take a moment to recover? Oh, you stupid knights, what have you done? Go, get out of there, get out of there. For your steward alive. Fighting. Oh, no, don't do that stupid thing. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That is gonna sting, man. There we go. We need to watch our heroes, man.
With Sir Geoffroy by his side, Sir Jean had secured the outpost.
Alright, hold on. Alright, all our heroes. Now you have one. Okay. Cavalry forms group 4. Alright. Well, let us proceed. No, wait. Don't trust the bloody English. Geoffrey Dubois. Right, heavy cavalry. Okay. Jean de Beaumanoir. Noir. Yves Charvel. Yves Charvel. I cannot get the name. Olivier Arl and Guy de Rochefort. Alright.
Page.
I do not trust these damn Englishmen. First, good to move.
Sir Jean entered the staging area for the tournament, where he prepared to choose which knights would join him in battle.
Okay. Select champions to combat the English.
Each knight would be accompanied by his squires, young nobles in training to become knights themselves.
Okay. 5 royal knights and... Sorry, 4 royal knights and 5 horsemen. To increase their armor, decrease melee armor, 9 spearmen. Review and counter the assembled English combatants. Who goes first is my question. Is it the horsemen? If it is horsemen, I will take Livier arm. He will heal. Movement increases armor or decreases armor. 5 men-at-arms and spearmen or 9 men-at-arms. We have 13 spearmen.
Compagnon, preste poratier. Compagnon, preste
Bossoy, donc.
Okay, I need a moment to think. So we go for
Sir Jean had selected his champions.
okay.
As
You gotta
the sun
win this.
rose, the two sides entered the arena, ready for the first round of combat.
This is not funny.
Lancière, gardez votre. À votre ordonnance.
Jascus en s'appelle.
Courage, lancière.
Right? Now let us enter the heal. Okay. Yeah, defeated English units. How many do we have? Oh yeah, we are smoking them. Get wrecked, boyo.
Claiming an easy victory in the first round, the French champions left the arena to recover their strength.
Brace, veci commandement.
Search technology. What do I have to do? Oh. Okay. Return to the field when ready.
Veci commandement.
Okay. Alright, that should be done. Return to the field when ready. I think I am ready. Don't have gold.
Refreshed and reinvigorated, the French knights returned to the arena for another round of combat.
Lancière,
Spearman front.
The combat of the 30 was about to decide which nation would control the Duchy of Brittany.
Maybe the...
lancière, lance des récompenses.
You idiots are gonna charge us, right? Come on, charge us. Brace for impact. Here we go. And please start butchering them. Oh yeah. These Brits don't stand a chance. Ho 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 ho. Fight them, man! Defeat them all! We win!
Mais
Haha!
conduite!
Is that it? That's it.
Triumphant, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir and his loyal knights claimed victory. The combat of the 30 had decided control of Brittany in favour of the French.
Yay! We
Little did the
win!
two sides know, this was just the beginning of a bitter war that would outlive them all.
Hip hip, huzzah! That was fun. 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. Okay, the French champions defeated the English, and Brittany remained under French control. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Chivalry was. Wait a minute. Hey. Wait a minute. Chivalry or Chevauchee? Which was that one? No. All have to be watched. All right. Let's go with the concept of chivalry first.
In 1350,
Oh dear.
what we know as the idyllic French countryside
Alright. Sorry about that. Chevauchee.
In the Hundred Years' War, the English used a terror tactic, a raid through enemy territory, intended to intimidate and provoke the French into battle. It was called Chevauchee. The principal weapon for Chevauchee was fire. And one of the ways it was delivered was with incendiary arrows.
Challenge with incendiary arrows? Keeping them alight.
One type of incendiary arrow was fueled with gunpowder.
We've got charcoal, got sulfur, and we've got saltpeter. Saltpeter is the main ingredient. The more oxygen you put into it, the hotter it burns. Of course, when it's on an arrow, when it's being shot, you've got a turbocharged airstream.
The chemicals are bound together with brandy, left to dry, and poured into a linen bag. The extra long arrowhead is inserted into the bag and then tied off to secure it. It is then sealed by dipping it into boiling tree resin. This resin, which itself is highly flammable, provides a waterproof casing. It also shields the burning gunpowder so the wind doesn't put it out in flight.
Now that looks deadly, and I really want to shoot it.
The art to shooting an incendiary arrow is timing. Too early, and it will go out. Too late, it will spit at you like a dragon.
That was just evil. That was great.
The word chevauchee means horse raid, and it was mobile light horsemen who spearheaded the attacks. They took gold and silver from the churches, valuables from wealthy citizens, and as much food and drink as they could find from anyone. A chevauchee was scorched earth warfare to create discontent amongst the enemy's subjects, perhaps even to get them to turn against their king. An army on campaign needed a decisive battle, and a chevauchee was intended to taunt the enemy to come out and fight.
That is plain brutal, seriously. Oh, but it's as stated, it is a point of coaxing your enemy to come out and fight you. You can't get your army enemy to come and face you face to face on the battlefield. All right, let's just provoke him. What is the best way to provoke their enemy? Go and kill their people, torch their villages, kill or steal their livestock, loot them, raise and sack settlements, and ultimately, eventually, even the most patient person will have to crack under the pressure. He will crack, and the army will come looking for the instigator of the raids to put an end to them, because they're being a constant harassment. They're source of nuisance and harassment in the area, and people are going to get pissed off. Like civil people are going to get pissed off. All the civilians, I mean to say, they're going to get pissed off because they would be in the mindset, what is their king doing? Everybody else, every village is being attacked, and people are being butchered and looted, and our king and our troops seem to do nothing. What the hell is happening? Do we just switch allegiance? Psychological warfare, in a sense. It is psychological warfare to force an engagement from the enemy. So, for example, let us say when the enemy is being really annoyed and pissed off would be the appropriate word. But let in this context, pissed off by the rage, and they respond, and these scouting parties who are going on raids spot the approaching enemy army. It also gives the raiders, the invaders, a chance to choose a battlefield of their own setting, choose ground appropriate to for themselves to face the enemy army. Alright? Because the longer the defenders delay in responding to the threat, because they have to do it, the longer there is a delay, the more people are going to suffer and more people are going to die. Settlements are going to be tough, which is not going to be pleasant. Right? It is a way of dragging them out to a fight where you're in favor. The odds are in your favor. Alright? And also, once they hook the bait, they can recall those raiding parties, and you can even coordinate multiple armies in the field, multiple contingents to form up to congregate into a larger viable force and then face that army. So that is quite an effective weapon. It is quite an effective weapon. Okay, page from history. A tournament of war. The combat of the 30 was a bloody counterpart to the pageantry of the knightly jousts, but also a return to form. By 1350, jousts were focused on showmanship and over actual combat. Grand pavilions hid knights ahead of dramatic reveals. An opening day parade displayed combatants in heraldic glory. Knights wielded blunted arms and competed for a rich prize, but tournaments started as training for war. In earlier centuries, jousts were only part of the tourney. Brutal melees with keen-edged weapons were just as important. Injury and even death were common. The most dangerous of these tourneys opposed national groups of knights, especially French and English, which often developed into pitched battle. This was the tradition revived for the combat of the 30. Okay, so the reason why tourneys were held was as a way to hone their skills for war. Later on, as knights began to die, as they stated in this article, knights began to die. And if you're a king, you can't afford to have your damn knight die in a tournament, right? That is one less knight you'll be having that time. The more knights you lose due to this tournament, it is utterly wasteful for the king, because you're losing reliable knights who can supply you with troops. While the purpose was appreciated because you're training for honing for war and you're not losing touch of your martial skills, the deaths began to affect people, because the king is going to lose. He can replace them, yes. I admit that once the knight dies, he can be replaced, but it's only permissible to a certain point of time. Why the hell would you want to lose your own life if you're trying to practice for it? So what happened was, as the tournament developed, knights began to use blunted weapons, and instead of deciding who is the best combatant or the fighter, it was going to be for a prize, maybe a pot of money or some ladies' hand in marriage. Just giving examples. And later on, they began to develop special armor for tournaments, heavier armor which was covering the front part of the knight, heavier armor solely for the purpose of these tournaments. And even kings died in tournaments. I guess the King of France was his name. I do not remember his name. A piece of a wooden lance pierced, entered his head through the visor and pierced his brain, and he died 9 days later. I think it was King Henry, or I don't remember his name. Is it King Louis? I do not remember. But later on, it became a fan fest, we could say. Uh, an important social gathering of the elites and entertainment for the townspeople. But the purpose remained the same. The only thing is you do not have to die to improve your combat abilities. Okay. Yeah, the most dangerous of these is when it's in your own country, that's okay. But when two opposing countries, nations are fighting, it will definitely be into pitch black. So this was what happened. It's come out of 30, though the French won. Okay, let us go back to the main screen. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, then leave a like. If you did not like the video, then leave a dislike. Share, comment and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new videos when they are released. Oh, and I forgot to mention, all the scenarios under the 100 Years War campaign would be a part of a playlist. Okay, so in case you miss one episode, no need to worry. From the next episode onwards, the playlist link will be available. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys. And until the next video, this is Shinobi Ranger signing out. Bye!